Hi, I'm Anthony Newbold. Welcome to a closer look. Social safety net, the national insurance, always a matter of concern whether or not it continues to be viable. And so my guest this week is the director of the National Insurance Board, Dr. Nicola Virgil Rolle. Dr. Rolle, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
A little bit of industrial unrest down there.
Yes.
Is it kind of settled over there now?
Yes. Well, NIB has a long history of very vibrant industrial action. But I am happy to say that we have concluded a new five-year industrial agreement with our non-managers union. We had an amicable agreement, came to very good compromises, and so we're happy with the progress with that. We continue to have good dialogue with both of our unions. We await a proposal for a new industrial agreement with our managers union as well. And so we only ask that we do things and settle our differences around the table, and we expect to have good negotiations with them.
Good, good. One of the complaints I've been hearing, though, is that you got some challenges with your telephone system. People say they can't reach people at the board. What's happening?
Yes. Answering our phones was perhaps my #1 action item when I joined the board a year and some ago. We met a system that was quite antiquated, a legacy system that was end of life in many respects. So some of the parts and equipment wasn't being supported. And so we put in place a strategy whereby we looked for a new system. And so we've begun that process of procuring and now releasing our new phone system. We wanted to make sure that we had a modern system, one that, for example, could handle the 20,000 calls we get a month. And so one where it would allow for queuing. So you would be on hold, you would get a message to know where you were in the queue, and one which would give you an estimate of your time on the queue as well, so that we wouldn't just lose calls in the process. Putting in place a proper call center as well was critical. So we had put in place a back office infrastructure where persons would answer your call, were knowledgeable in answering your call, provided you with information so that you felt that you had what was necessary and not having to call again or come back down and actually go into NIB's premises.
I am sure the Prime Minister is happy with you, but I just thought, did you have any idea of the challenge you faced when you agreed to take on that job?
It was an awesome role, and I was felt very privileged to be asked to take on the role of NIB director, understanding, of course, the importance of this organization to the history of the Bahamas. We are the social safety net in terms of providing social security for persons and income replacement for persons when they need it the most, when they're at the point of retirement or they're at maternity or sickness. They need to come to us for that income replacement. And so in dealing with the work, you had to go in and understand the core challenges. Luckily, I had a lot of information there from my directors before me, speaking to also my executives as well, to get an understanding of what was happening at NIB.
Yeah. One of the challenges I've heard about as well, people saying that they go down and they were told they couldn't get any cards.
Yes. We saw a number of posts on Facebook and social media. And so in the fourth quarter of last year, NIB recognized that we were replacing thousands of cards that were in good shape. So when we initially launched the Smart Card Initiative, the cards were only expected to last for about 5 years. We were told that after 5 years, the cards would be no good, we would destroy them and replace them. So we had a 5-year expiration date on them. But we realized people were coming with cards in very good shape, and so we launched our decal system. So when you come with a good card for renewal, we place a tamper-resistant decal on that card. Now we're still issuing cards for persons who need new cards, persons who've lost cards, or persons getting senior cards as well. And so that process is still ongoing.
Yeah. The fund itself, national insurance, there's always this question, is it solvent? How long was it going to be solvent? What is the state of the National Insurance Fund today as we speak?
Well, I'm happy to say, Mr. Newbold, that the fund is $1.7 billion strong. It's a fund that we invest very prudently, conservatively, in order to make sure that we yield the best for the people of the Bahamas. We average about 50 to 70 million in terms of investment earnings each year. But it's a fund where we face some unique challenges. Since about 2016, a unique phenomenon was happening. where we realized that we were paying out more in benefits than we were taking in contributions. And it's because of just the demographic change of the country. We have an older population, so we have a lot more retirements. We have a population that, as one gets older, there's more sickness. So you have increases in sickness benefits as well. And one where we see increasing numbers in industrial accidents. So we pay also for medical care and other benefits related to industrial injury. And so we were seeing higher payouts than we were taking in. And so you have this structural imbalance that was predicted in our actuarial reviews. We have actuarial reports done every 5 years. And so we predicted that and we knew it was coming. And so we have our 11th actuarial review beginning now. And so we will look closely at the recommendations coming out of that report.
Your fund itself depends for its viability on how compliant people are.
Yes.
How is your compliance going?
Well, you know, we've stepped up those efforts. That was a key mandate when I came into the board, to really look at compliance. And so we know we have an issue with some serious arrears. We have over 100 companies we know with arrears over $50,000. And so we focused particularly on that group of companies, where we wanted to understand what was happening, reach out to them, give them another opportunity to pay. Now, NIB has a provision in its legislation where debt to NIB is never extinguished, and we have the ability to go after them both in terms of civil prosecutions and in terms of criminal prosecutions, which we've stepped up in the last few months as well. But ultimately, we want our employers to understand that it's best to come in, work out agreements with us, installment agreements, and we work with you to ensure that you can be able to pay. At any point in time, you're taking a 3.9% out of your employees' salaries. That money does not belong to you. That needs to come to NIB for them, because at some point those persons will come for a claim, be it retirement or illness, and we want to make sure we have those funds there for them.
And what happens, you talked about it a little bit, what happens to those companies who are not compliant and they don't pay you?
Yes. So, you know, we find out many times when someone has come in for a claim and we're not seeing them on the register, we send inspectors out who go and inspect the books of the company. We seek to talk to the owners of the company to understand what happened. We have the rights to inspect the wage books of companies as well. And then we make a determination in terms of what is owed to NIB. We mutually agree that, and then we work out installment agreements for you to pay those arrears back to us. Failing that, as was mentioned, we can pursue legal means in order to have this done. And we have had prosecutions, we have had arrests, but we try to deal with this amicably, because at the end of the day, the issue is payment, because these are people who rely on these payments. And so we have been pressing that more and more and seeing good results.
Good. I want to talk to you about the ESS portal, but we got to take a break, and we'll be back with more after this. Welcome back to A Closer Look. Anthony Newbo speaking with Dr. Nicola Virgil, Rolle, Director of the National Insurance Board. The ESS portal,
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
So as part of this 5-year strategic plan of the board, we're looking towards technology. And so in late last year, we released a pilot program for the employer self-service portal. Now, this was a program that we had found existing but needed some tweaks to become operational. I challenged my IT department last year to get this program operational, and I was so happy when they were able to. And so this is a program where you can manage your employees, you can upload your C10s online, and also pay online for your C10s, for your employee contributions online. You do not need to come into the National Insurance Board to do this now. And so we have a pilot program. We intend to launch this fully at the end of March. But we intended to have 40 people on the pilot. We have 90 persons on the pilot who are using it, testing it for us, making sure it's very easy to use. And it's one where it's going to allow you greater control of paying your contribution payments. One where we're hoping our small enterprises, small businesses use this in particular, big enterprises as well to use this, to be able to pay on time, regularly, and pay within the comforts of your home or office.
Yeah. And there's some people who are not receiving pensions because, the the whole contribution record of whomever is incomplete. How big a problem is that for you?
Well, what we do is we have a philosophy of once you can prove to us you've worked, and we work with the employer to verify that, we do not deny a claim because the payments are not in. So we verify that you have been employed by company X, this is how much you made, we do the calculations, we get an agreement with the employer that yes, this is the case, and then we seek to pursue the employer to pay the necessary contributions. What happens though is that it delays your application process. And so we have to make sure that the contributions are always posted, and that's another advantage of the ESS portal, because once you fill in that the C10s online, it is automatically posted to the accounts of your employees.
You had an open house recently.
Yes.
You're going to have another one. Was that designed to help with that compliance issue?
Very much so, and we have another one coming up on the 22nd of February. What we found was we just put an emphasis on exceptional customer service. And so we had a very motivated team of our staff present to provide assistance with registration. So persons who are getting their smart cards, people who were registering businesses for the first time. We had a lot of self-employed persons who are registering for the first time and understanding, how do I set up my payments? We helped people get on the ESS portal as well to join the pilot as well. We had employers who came to talk about their arrears and to set up installment programs with us. And then we had persons who came in to pay as well. There were very short lines, you're in and out, and we made it a fun atmosphere for you. And we intend to do the same at our next one as well.
You seem very happy about that.
Yes, yes. You know, it was really good to get the positive feedback, and we want to make this a standard of how we take care of our customers.
What's the position with your computer system that we've been hearing about for years now?
Well, I'm seeing great progress there. You know, that was one of the challenges when we came in. We had heard about so much of the complication, the glitches, the bugs that were in our system. And so we took a methodical approach to this. We brought in a team of experts to really look at the system itself. We fixed over 300 bugs. We released a number of patches as well to deal with the challenges that the system was having. We've seen improvements in terms of processing times. Our staff are saying, you know, it's working better. And so we're seeing that that's translating into being able to process claims much quicker as well. And so we're building on our systems to be more innovative. We want to move towards where we are allowing for some online receipt of claim applications as well. That's in our next 12 months, which we're trying to move towards. And so we're building on a system. We had to get a lot more buy-in, and I think we've done so.
Something I understand has been very important to you since you joined the board, and that was putting in place a strategic plan.
Yes, yes.
Tell me about that plan. What did you have to do before you began putting that plan on paper?
Well, you know, Mr. Newell, I'm a planner by nature. And so as I came into the organization, it was just important for me to understand what were the key challenges and understand the root causes of the challenges that NIB was facing. We knew that customers were not happy with many things. We knew that staff were not happy with many things. So we began a process to talk to managers, talk to the staff, talk to everyone from the top to the bottom to understand what were the key things impacting. And so we took that analysis, coming from the Office of the Prime Minister as well. I was very familiar with the delivery unit model. So we began a delivery unit within the National Insurance Board to really begin to push change and organizational transformation. And so we came up with a 5-year strategic plan focused around 4 key pillars. So we're looking at exceptional customer service, having motivated and talented staff. We're looking also at safeguarding the fund. And then lastly, but very importantly, ensuring that we have good corporate governance in place as well.
All of those things will keep you occupied a lot. Where did you get your attention first in this strategic plan?
I'd have to say all of them, but you know, we began with customer service because we're a customer service organization. We deal with people face-to-face daily on the phone, and so we want to make sure that people feel good about coming to us and that their questions are answered and they get the service that they obviously deserve, good service. But to do so, I have to make sure my technology is in place. I have to make sure my staff are trained. I have to make sure my policies and procedures are in place. All of these things have to be there in order for me to deliver good customer service.
Yeah. How much is this plan going to cost?
Well, I can say when we started the plan, we augmented our procurement forms. And so everyone has to say, how does any spending, each dollar, relate to the plan? And so we can say that everything we spend at National Insurance relates to the strategic plan. They have to justify their expenditures based on the plan. And so we spend a lot, obviously, on the technology, getting that right. It's a large $10 million budget there to get that right. We spend also and are going to up our spending on staff training as well to make sure we deal with both soft skills and also the hard skills of all of the work that we have to do as well.
Because that was my next question. How much of what you do, because you have this wonderful equipment, wonderful plans, how much of the success of the strategic plan is dependent on your actual staff performance?
Well, staff, employees are your key asset. It is, that's not just a saying for us. We believe that at NIB. And so really having strong performance is critical. We are investing in our staff. We're investing in training. We're also investing in reviews of our staff. So we want to make sure we get good performance and it's measured. People care about what's measured very well. And so we are putting in place objectives-based performance management so that we know how you're performing, you have good feedback. We're investing in our managers as leaders of our organization so that they feel comfortable delivering good critical feedback to their subordinates as well. And so employees are key to the operation of NIB.
And we started the program talking about what was going on down there with the industrial. The unions, I'm sure, both the management and the regular employee union, I'm presuming that they are buying into what you're doing.
We have good support. Notwithstanding unrest that happens from time to time at NIB, I think you have good working relationships with the staff, both unions, our managers, and we're able to sit back and really talk about the issues fully. And so we are continuing to engage in that. We've introduced staff meetings more frequently. We've introduced an open management meeting as well so that we keep all of our managers aware of what's happening throughout the board. And our managers get to showcase also their expertise in different areas. And that's a key. Communication is critical in an organization the size of NIB, 600 employees.
Yeah, we'll talk some more about that, but we got to take this final break. And we'll be back in a moment with Dr. Nicola Virgil, Rolle, the Director of the National Insurance Board. Welcome back to A Closer Look. I'm Anthony Newbold speaking with Dr. Nicola Virgil, Rolle, Director of the National Insurance Board. What about the public as you get into this?
So you will see that NIB has been more vocal recently, and that's also part of the strategic plan. We want to get out there to educate the public about who NIB is, what we offer, our rules and our procedures, so that there's clarity in the public about that. And so you will see us appearing on many of the talk shows, the radio shows, in order to do so. We are having a number of other opportunities as well where we can showcase who we are. We want the public to understand that they should care about NIB and see the value proposition really that we're offering in terms of providing for them when they can no longer provide for themselves. And so you'll be seeing a lot of activity over the coming months with that.
What are some obvious markers that you will look for, that you will say, yeah, this plan is working?
Yes.
Yeah, what are those markers, some of them, that you want to look for?
So obviously one of the key things, we provide a service which revolves around really applications and claims and processing times. And so really cutting down our processing times for all claims is an area that I look at closely. So I've gotten my IT department to build me query tools where I can see how long it's taking for all of our claims. I can look at that versus quarter by quarter or month by month to see if we're making headway there. Some we are, I'm happy to say. Others we're not doing as well, so that we can deploy resources appropriately. So we have been, for example, understand that we need more claims officers. So we're training up claims officers, we're recruiting claims officers as well to add to the resource so that we can speed processing times. We also want to reduce the amount of time you wait with us. So you come to NIB for a variety of reasons, and many times it's a crowd. You're waiting with us for an hour or so. We want to get that down to the shortest possible time. We want you to also have other avenues in which to do your business with NIB. And so online technology is critical. So we want to have applications being submitted online, be it for your claims with respect to retirement or funeral benefits, and one day even your smart card applications as well to be submitted online, so you're not having to wait for those things. So those are critical markers that we're looking at.
And what I'm hearing, talking to you about what you want to do, training is going to be critical to your success.
Very much so. We offer a generous training package to our staff, and we are here to really coach and mentor staff. We're training managers to be leaders to do that, and so that's critical. We also have invested in ensuring that our policies and procedures are up to date, so that any staff member, a new person coming into the organization, knows what should be done. One of the things that we want our customers to know is whomever they speak with NIB, they're getting the same correct information. And so that's critical to have good policies and procedures in place so everyone knows what the answers are.
When you look at that strategic plan, and you can roll it out when?
We have begun to roll it out this year, actually. So we're in the plan.
You're in the plan
Yes.
now. At which point are you going to sit back and say, all right, let me reevaluate which parts of this plan I need to adjust here or there?
Mm-hmm. We do that continuously. Through our managers, we meet to discuss the plan. We understand how they're doing. We know that a plan is a living document, so you have to add things to it. One thing we realized, and it came from our managers, we wanted to talk more about the health of our employees. And so we've added to that element as well to make sure that there's a strong focus on the health and well-being of our employees as well. So we've added to that as well.
Let me ask you this about somebody retires
Mm-hmm.
and they make a claim.
Mm-hmm.
They're 65 and they decide that they're going to start claiming.
Mm-hmm.
Is it best to do that at 65, or is it best to start that process earlier?
Mm-hmm.
And I ask that because usually you make the application and it's going to take you, what, 3, 4, 5 months
Yes.
to get to start getting that pension. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so we ask that people come in about 2 to 3 months before they're ready to retire. Based on which age you elect to retire, there's different scales. So if you retire at 65, there's 100% of the payment. There's also an early retirement option beginning at 60. And so the process happens with respect to submitting your application, submitting the necessary documents that are there for any type of application that we have, any type of claim that we offer. And then we adjudicate that claim. There are trained claims officers who review that claim, make sure everything is in place. The biggest challenge we have actually isn't the adjudication of the claim, but it's making sure that all of your contributions are there. So we track down employers, we track down to make sure things are in the system so that we can ensure that we calculate your benefit correctly and give you the greatest possible benefit that is eligible for you.
You talk about paying out more than you were taking in. Where do you see the biggest claim? Is it from the pension, just general pension benefit, or is it from some other area?
Well, we pay out about $22 million per month in pension benefits. So that is the core of Social Security.
Right.
That is, we support about 40,000 pensioners. But we see in terms of the volume, we have several, over 10,000 sickness claims that we also support. We saw, but we've begun to control that as well in terms of just making sure that we had proper medical standards in place for industrial injury, because those can be very large claims depending on what has happened to the individual. We want to ensure that you get good medical treatment and you are able to return to work as soon as possible, so there are good medical outcomes as well. So we also take care of those for our customers as well.
You're happy with the direction that you see National Insurance is going?
I see good progress, and I have a good team around me, good support from managers and staff as well, and so I can say I'm very happy, but I know I can be happier. We're going to work harder for you each and every day.
Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Remember, you can also watch us on Facebook and on YouTube.